Hey, so this is a quick demo for assignment 1 for my artificial intelligence class. First, I will be demoing the GUI, and then afterwards, I'll be doing a code breakdown. So this is our GUI. It displays our state. We are allowed to select which coffee amount we'd like. So we can either select between 4 ounces, 8 ounces, or 12 ounces. We can stick to 4 ounces. And then these are our makeshift LEDs. So this LED represents whether the water level is at the right level, whether we have good coffee grounds in the cartridge, and whether our carafe is empty, ready to be filled. So we can add the correct amount of water, we can add our coffee grains. And now that all LEDs indicate that we are ready to go, they're all green, we can hit the brew button. It'll brew for about 2 seconds, and then it'll display it's in the finished state, resetting all our conditions. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Then I'll explain what's going on in code. So obviously we import our dependencies. We're importing our data class because we're working with a data class which just holds all the information variables for our main class. And we're importing PyQt because we're using PyQt as our framework for the GUI. So this data class holds the information for the water, the coffee grounds, and the carafe, and it has some helper functions to set those variables true or false. It also has this helper function to check whether all of them are true or not. And then this is the actual class. This is what does most of the work. So its parent is a widget because we're just using this PyQt widget as our base. We initialize it. We create our coffee variables instance from our coffee variables data class. We define the 3 states that we're going to be switching between because this represents a finite state machine. So state 1 is idle, state 2 is brewing, and state 3 is finished, and it'll switch back and forth. And then we have our initialization of the UI. So this is everything used to create the look of the UI. So I'll create the title, it'll initialize our states, and then this right here is the combo box. This creates the combo box. These lines here create the LEDs right there. These lines create the labels for the LEDs. Then we create our buttons, connect them to functions. These buttons right here. Underneath that, we have our brew button, which will start the brewing cycle. And then at the very bottom, we have our status bar. So after we've done all that, we also have these helper functions that create the functionality of the GUI. So these will do things such as update the status. It'll change the color LEDs to either red or green. I'll update the status. Uh, each button has their own action that'll execute. Check for reset. Reset will wait for all these values, all these conditions to be met true, and then we can reset to the idle state. We have functions to update the variables. Start brew. So this function will execute when this brew coffee button has been hit. Brew timer. Internally, when I hit the brew coffee, there's a 2-second timer that simulates and represents the brewing cycle of an actual coffee machine. And then underneath we have our brew function or brew finished function. This just updates the GUI after the brew has been finished, and it changes our state and updates our variables, our LEDs, and that's pretty much that. And then we have our Python convention if name is equal domain. So when this file is run, create an app, use the coffee maker class, make an instance, and then wait for an app to exit. And that's pretty much the entire code. So thank you.